Welcome to Nurse Strong, where our mission is to promote edification, self-care, and camaraderie among nurses. Our vision is to positively change the culture of nursing, and this is starting with you. You, my friends, are Nurse Strong, day and night long. Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me for episode 4. I'm Alicia, and I'm your host of Nurse Strong. And this episode is titled Do What You Want to Do. And I say this all the time. I tell people, do what you want to do. Sometimes, I don't necessarily want them to do what they want to do. And sometimes I do want them to do what they want to do. But one thing in life that everybody has to do in order to get to their purpose, in order to fulfill their dreams and their goals, is to do what they want to do. And there are so many, quotes that follow that. Do what you love what you do what you love, and the money will follow. Do it for you and not for them. But what I've learned in life, and it's taken me up until this point, to realize and to just fully accept and implement in my life that doing what I want to do is a form of absolute freedom. And so I want to talk about doing what you want to do in your nursing profession. Let's take a minute to shout out Anchor. Anchor is the platform that I am using to reach all of you all with my Nurse Strong message. If you have a dream or a vision to one day start a podcast, consider using Anchor for all of your podcast needs. They give you everything you need to record and edit your podcast, and they will also distribute your podcast to different platforms like Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and many, many more. So consider Anchor next time you want to do a podcast. Thank you. So do what you want to do. This is a concept I learned very early in my nursing career. When I was about to finish nursing school, I was doing my clinicals. All I knew is that I did not want to be at the bedside. And I just thought it was so hard. I thought that all the nurses were mean. I thought that I would just be out there in the wilderness by myself. It was just something I wasn't ready to do and I didn't want to do. And so I had a lot of people, specifically older nurses or more experienced nurses, they would tell me, "Oh, you have to go to med-surg at least 1 year. You have to go, and that's how you'll be a real nurse. And you got to do some real nursing right out of school." And I just wasn't buying that, because I felt like what made me a real nurse was I went to nursing school and I passed NCLEX and I was a real nurse. So whatever I decided to do in my career that would fit my lifestyle and my family life the best, that's what I was going to do. And I had to make that decision for myself, not to prove to anyone that I was a real nurse or I had real skills or whatever people say. I had to make the best choice for myself. So my first job out of nursing school was not at the bedside. It was acute care, and it was acute dialysis. So I was in the hospital and I was treating patients in the hospital, but I was not on the floor on the bedside. And I went from there and I did other things. I did pain management, I did mental health, and then I decided I wanted to start really focusing my career in a certain direction. And I knew that in order for me to do that, I felt like I needed to go and get some experience in the hospital. So what I'm saying is, when I finally did go to the bedside, it was on my time. It was when I felt comfortable. It was when it was best for me. So I went to the bedside after I had already started my career for, some years. And one thing I can say that was a plus is, even though I didn't have that bedside experience when I started, I was not a scared new nurse anymore. I came with a whole set of skills that nurses at the bedside did not have. Nobody knew anything about acute dialysis and that type of care. Nobody knew much about mental health, even though mental health is pretty much in every sector. But, I came with skills that I did not, were not given as much in the hospital. So I don't feel like I missed out or I did things the wrong way. I did things that were best for me. So when I finally went to the bedside, I was more equipped to deal with some of the things that I dealt with. Now, it was not less hard, it was not less stressful and demanding, but it was the best time in my life for me to go. So when I decided to leave the bedside, it was for my personal reasons as well. I actually loved working at the bedside. I loved talking to my patients. I loved learning things. I loved the way that no day was the same. But my point is, I had to do it the way that I wanted to do it. And I speak to a lot of nurses and a lot of nursing students who feel so pressured to go to the bedside for however long, to do it for whatever reasons, or to work at night because that's what you have to do when you come out of school and that's the best way to learn. And I'm like, what if you are just not a night person? So if you know you're not a night person and you take a job where you staying up all night because you feel like that's what you have to do, I just don't know how that makes sense. Or if you know good and well you are just terrified at being at the bedside right now, or you just don't want to do it. You don't want to, clean patients. You don't want to change bed sheets. You don't want to be in an environment that's understaffed sometimes. Then you have other options until you feel like you personally can do that, if that's the way that you want your career to go. So I will say that what I've done after I left the bedside, all of those things that I learned at the bedside contributed to, who I am now, but so did my other jobs. So you just got to do what's best for you. So when I decided to go from the bedside and take another, non-bedside job, I was speaking to a nurse that I knew, and she was retired. And I told her that I was going, leaving the bedside because I was in school and my daughter was getting older and I needed better hours. I needed, to be what I would say, I needed to leave with the sun and get home with the sun. Meaning I was not trying to go to work when it was still dark outside, and I wasn't trying to come back home when it was dark. I needed to be home more. So, she just kind of dismissed all of those reasons, and she just said, you're going to lose all your skills. And like I said, she was an older retired nurse, so I did not respond in the way that I felt like I wanted to. But in my head, I'm thinking, what does that even mean? Like, people just say that. Like, it's like certain phrases people just automatically say and they don't even think about what they're saying. So I'm thinking, what skills am I going to lose? What about the skills that I'm going to gain when I take this other job? What about all the skills that I gained before I even went to the bedside? So what I'm saying is, do what is best for you and learn and obtain skills in any nursing situation that you're in, because nursing, the profession of nursing, has changed greatly. I mean, these aren't the days where girls were going to nursing school right out of high school and they were, single, no responsibility, and they just had this undying passion to care for the sick. Now nurses are, this is people's second career, and they're starting nursing at a later time in life, and they have had a whole career before they started being a nurse. So they're coming with a whole different set of values, a whole different set of priorities, and it's not the same. So I just don't want any new nurses or even experienced nurses to feel like they have got to do things one way. Do your nursing career how you want to do it. Nurses have evolved. I mean, we are researchers, innovators, educators, missionaries, practitioners, legislators, legal consultants, and so much more. And I see so many nurses at work miserable at work because they hate what they're doing. Like they love being a nurse, but they don't like what they're doing. And I just don't understand why they're doing it, because that's what they feel like they're supposed to do. And the like I said, the career of nursing has changed. Our focus is a lot different than it used to be. Now we promote health, we prevent diseases, we have jobs that help patients and their families cope with illnesses. We're a part of formulating best practices and approaches, and something that I'm very interested in. We do device training. We are a part of healthcare technology, community-wide health management, improving outcomes. Another big thing is preventive care and educators. So I just can't say this enough. Do what you want to do. And then if you decide you want your nursing career to take a different course, then you go and do what you have to do to do that course. And I'm not saying that not to go on the bedside. I think bedside is great nursing. I think you learn a lot. I think it sets the foundation for a lot of things that you can do in nursing, but it is not the only route if that's what you truly feel like you're not ready to do. And I just want to point out that nurses, we are trained and we possess some valuable skills that people that are not in healthcare would really appreciate. Nurses are trained to be extremely reliable and dependable. We have to be great communicators. We are self-starters. We have to be flexible in a dynamic environment, and we are trained to have positive work ethic. So these skills are valuable not just in the healthcare setting. So if you want to be let's say a legal nurse consultant, or a nurse advisor, or a nurse leader, or a nurse administrator, or a case manager, or a nurse navigator. These are things that are not necessarily in the bedside environment, but they are very, very valuable things that we need in the nursing profession, that our skills can be used at advocacy, nurse traveling, flight nurses, parish nurses, summer camp nurses, medical writers. There's so much that you can do as a nurse that I just hate when I hear people or see people unhappy at work. And you have so many things of value within you that you can be honing in and finding your purpose and doing what's best for you and your life and your family, and have a smile on your face all at the same time. So I leave you with a quote by Christian Louboutin. I hope I didn't say his name wrong, but he said something like, doing what you love is the best form of relaxation. Thank you. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to leave me your comment, or you can email me your feedback and suggestions to livenursestrong@gmail.com. Talk to you later.